I guess it's my turn to speak. Ladyship Justice Rai, Lordship Justice Bhaskar Raj Pradhan, Honorable Vice Chancellor of the Sikkim National Law University, former judges of this jurisdiction, Justice Subba and Justice Wangdi, former judge of a jurisdiction where I served earlier, of Allahabad High Court Justice Mayank Jain, who has taken the trouble to come all the way from Delhi, I think. Learned additional advocate generals of the government of Sikkim, all members of the registry, judicial officers of the entire state of Sikkim, office bearers of the two bar association, senior advocates, learned members of the bar, of course, the law secretary is here, but I would consider him as a judicial officer, not as a government officer. Each members of this High Court, in whichever capacity they serve, present in this courtroom, either recording whatever I am speaking through the ancient method of stenography or through the electronic method of digital recording. Former district judge serving quite a few jurisdictions in West Bengal, Mr. Sengupta, who is present here. My court officers and staffs who have taken the pain from coming from Calcutta. Personal guests of mine, some from faraway shores halfway across the globe, and some from nearer home. Last but not the least, my family members, my wife and daughter. I have to say at the very outset that I am humbled, not just touched, but humbled by whatever you have said about me with such graciousness. I do not know whether I deserve all that has been said about me, but I must confess that every utterance of yours, either from the bar or from the bench, will be embedded in my mind forever to come till I lose my consciousness. I come from a city which was established in and around 1690 by Job Charnock. City was situated in the lower Gangetic plains, and it seems that I was destined to travel higher. Let me explain how. From the lower Gangetic plains, where I began my career as a lawyer, as you have said, it's all documented, as a 25-year-old in 1989. Till 17 years practice put me to an elevation, to be elevated as a judge of the Calcutta High Court in the age of 42. And then continuing for a decade and a half or so. My journey from Calcutta, from the lower Gangetic plain, took me upwards, the Gangetic plain, and brought me to a very holy place in India. It's referred to, that holy area is referred to as the Sangam. The place is referred to as Triveni, and all of you would know it as Prayagraj or Allahabad. So from the oldest High Court of India to the largest High Court of India. It's the journey. And the journey didn't stop there. I think the mysterious forces of nature thought that this man has had enough in the plains. He must travel a little higher. So destiny took me to the hills. The three famous hills of Garo, Khasi and Jaintia, where I performed my duties during the COVID times as the Chief Justice of Meghalaya High Court. And then one fine day, I think the Meghalaya High Court Chief Justice's Secretary had said that there is a notification for your transfer from Meghalaya to Sikkim. I just looked at the notification and I said, well, it's again a calling. I told to myself, obviously not to anyone else, that I'm being upgraded. Again, the mysterious forces of nature determined that this man has done enough in the hills. Now he should go to the mountains. So there I was, here in Gangtok, practically in the lap of the holy mountain range of Kanchenjunga. As all of you might be noticing in the last few days, thanks to the improved weather condition, we are getting to see the whole range in all its mystical beauty and splendor, which brings me the assurance every day that in front of Mother Nature, we are nothing. Absolutely nothing. In these years, 4 years, 2 months, and a few more days, I did what I thought was right and never doubted any step that I took, either in the judicial side or in the administrative side. Now, let me tell you what this state has achieved. And I must add a caveat. Here, I am not blowing a trumpet of my own. What I am saying is a result of a concerted team effort where all of you gathered here are the players. I may be a team leader. Nowadays, modern expression is team, and even modern expression is team leader. A few months ago, an independent body, it's called the Tata Trust, collated data from all jurisdictional high courts and broadly divided the Indian judicial map into two distinct categories. And rightly so, because it's very difficult to paint a canvas as big as India with the same brush. The India Justice Report divided the judicial map into the larger states and the smaller states. While determining how each jurisdictional high court functioned, or each state functioned rather, it took into consideration various factors, such as what's the pendency, what's the rate of disposal, how much vacancies are there across the state, how many under trial prisoners are there, how is the legal service authority functioning. There were maybe other few parameters I can't recall because I have not prepared and come here. I'm speaking straight from my heart. So the leader amongst the small states is our state, Sikkim. And this was not possible without your help, support, and cooperation. And it was not possible without every one of you contributing in your own way to make this High Court, the court or the jurisdiction of not only the High Court, it's my mistake, all the jurisdiction, as the state having the lowest pendency in the entire country. One of the things that I have kept in mind all through my public service, which is almost 20 years, are a few random thoughts which I want to share with you. Then I will come to something else. One is one little phrase I had learned when I was in school: pride comes before a fall. I threw away my ego and I never related myself with it in my public service. So I never let pride come into my way. I was never self-seeking or arrogant or full of myself or pompous by nature. Which I have seen a plenty. There are many people who claim they play with a straight bat, but in reality, those bats are very crooked. Here, I must take the opportunity to make a few points which are required to be told. It's about myself, since I'm supposed to respond to the full court orations. I never changed or created, for that matter, narratives to buy my future. I have never tinkered with narratives of others to consolidate my career. That, in my view, is what integrity is all about. That's also called courage. That's, according to me, of course, what judges and chief justices should be made of, ideally speaking. I always chose a path which, according to me, was the right path. And that path was only made of principles that led to the formation of my character. So, whatever you have said in this reference, I have shared with you how I have formed myself in years, over the years. Now, a question may come to our mind whether I have any regrets. So, there was this singer-songwriter in USA. I do not know whether he's still alive. His name is Paul Anka. So the second stanza of a song which he dedicated to Frank Sinatra, which Frank Sinatra also sang, was regrets. I've had a few, but then again, too few to mention. I did what I had to do and saw it through without exemption. In a nutshell, This is all that I can say of myself in public service. And I must, before parting with this full court reference, say something which is dear to me. I don't know what led me to Sikkim. As I sort of said, that from the lower Gangetic plains to Sangam, and then a little diversion to the hills, and finally to the mountains. In my 62 years of age, I'll be 62 in 2 days or 3 days. I have never ever come across a state like Sikkim with the people who are so endearing to me. The simplicity of this region, the purity of the air that I breathe, and I am saying this both literally and metaphorically. If I may say, I have become addicted. I am blessed by the mysterious forces of nature for having been given an opportunity to work here in Sikkim. I have been blessed to be a part of you. I have been blessed to consider this as my home. Thank you.
With the permission of my lord, may I declare
Yes,
the proposed?
please.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Next.